Welcome to Mountain Dew Fest! Woo! What? 2 dews? What? Double do it!
Taking tiny sips from 2 Mountain Dew cans. That's great.
What is yours, Adam? Yours is all blurry.
I have a Baja Blast mango gem, so they have alternate Baja Blast flavors.
Oh my god!
So this is mango. They also have pineapple, and then of course normal. But I've never had this mango, so we're gonna see what it tastes like.
Mango and pineapple are maybe the 2 best fruits on the planet, plus orange. Anything warm colored is a great fruit.
Yeah, I could see that. Let me see what it tastes like.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's mango as hell. It's just mango flavor. They're like, yo, we put a mango in a Mountain Dew. Have a good time.
Oh, that's fantastic. We don't have our usual Mountain Dew hard.
No.
I don't have Mountain Dew Zero Sugar Spark. All they had left at the store was Mountain Dew Zero Sugar Major Melon, and I do not like watermelon. But I'll double fist anything for a show.
There you go.
Welcome to Respawn. Aim Fire, the kick-ass gaming podcast brought to you by Affable Idiots. Whoa. Woof. We are, I'm one of your hosts, Chad Michael Innes. We've also got here Adam, don't tell him to do it, Gumbert. How are you, Adam?
I like that play on words because we are drinking Mountain Dews at the beginning of the show.
We are. We are also on twitch.tv/Affable Idiots right now, live Sunday evening at 8:30 Eastern Time. It's 8:22, but you can forgive us 8 minutes because it's Father's Day and we can do whatever we want because Adam is a father and I have a dog. So
there you
are. You can also catch us on demand, YouTube and podcast services Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time as well. We've got some fun stuff to talk about today. In addition to our Mountain Dew antics, we're also going to be talking about Starfield. We're talking about 2 games that almost got killed but ended up coming out. Kojima got people going crazy again. But we're going to start with our main quest, Naughty 3. If you're listening, we're winking furiously out of both eyes, alternating though. It's not a blink. It's definitely not. Oh damn it!
I'm having a seizure.
We are seizing on the stream. Naughty 3 continued with announcements from Capcom and Square Enix. Every story today is coming from IGN.com, which stands for Igneous Rocks Go Nuts. Starting with everything from Capcom Showcase, brought to you by Adam Bankhurst. So Capcom, ahead of time, they set expectations by telling us, hey, we're going to have a show. It's going to be about X minutes long. It's going to be about stuff, updates on things that we've already announced. So no one was going in expecting something brand spanking new, which was great because then we all appreciated the things that did get shown off. Starting with a few more seconds of Resident Evil 4 Remake gameplay. They announced it a few days earlier at one of the things. And what was it?
Was it at Summer? That was a Keeley's thing, right?
Was it Keeley?
No,
or was
it
it
was
Sony State of Play? Yeah, it was Sony State of Play.
Yeah.
So they'd announced it at Sony State of Play, but we saw a few more minutes, which also showed off a major gameplay design change where Leon might actually be moving while aiming and shooting, which is something that, like, does not happen in Resident Evil games. So, very excited. Well, sorry, in older Resident Evil games. Very excited for that. The game will also feature more, quote, modern flourishes. And the Ganado, which are like the zombie bug-infested enemies of Resident Evil 4, have been completely redesigned for this update. So, always good to see more from Resident Evil 4 Remake. Instantly one of my most anticipated titles upcoming of whenever it decides to come out. I can't remember if we got any kind of date. Did we?
I think they just said 2023.
2023? Okay. Hey, that's still closer than I thought it was going to be. Ooh. Why am I thinking spring? Why am I thinking like April 20? Because that's when the other ones came out. That's when Resident Evil 3 came out. We got some updates to Resident Evil Village and some DLC coming out, starting with the Shadows of Rose, which is a long-awaited story DLC. It's going to follow Ethan Winter's daughter, Rose, who, if you played the game, you know all about Rose. It's going to serve as a sequel to the main campaign. But here's the twist. This one's going to be in third person perspective. Resident Evil 7 and 8 famously take place in first person, which was a huge departure for the series. But this one will follow third person, and we'll see Rose encountering the consciousness of the Megamyskete. Yep. A place where, quote, time and space are warped beyond recognition. The DLC will be released on October 28th, 2022, as part of the Winter's Expansion DLC. And if you're looking to get in the mood, we've got some other things coming with that as well, including full third-person support for the whole campaign, which is awesome to see, as well as Mercenaries, which is a long tradition in Resident Evil games where it's basically like horde mode, waves of enemies. You're going to be able to play as not only Ethan Winters, but also that sexy Dimitrescu. You're going to be able to play as Chris Redfield and those hunky giant arms, and Carl Heisenberg with his big old Wolfie Hammer Smasher. They are all joining Mercenaries, and each will play in their own unique way. So that's pretty dope. Those are all coming out, again, October 28th. And part of the announcement, too, they also said, hey, all the things you loved about the way the Resident Evil Village looked, ray tracing, the 3D audio, the high frame rate, 4K, that's all coming to all the other sexy ones, too. Resident Evil 2 Remake, 3 Remake, 7, all getting free next-gen upgrades for PS5 and Series X and S. Those are out now. So if you want to play those in anticipation for 8 DLC and third-person mode coming out in October, you can probably get through all of them by the time that comes out. There's another Resident Evil-esque announcement, Resident Evil Reverse, which was the multiplayer game originally set to launch alongside Resident Evil Village, will now launch on October 28th as well. It's a 6-player PvP deathmatch game that puts players in the shoes of characters from across the Resident Evil series. Big ol' snooze on that. Not interested, but whatever. Glad. Yay.
They keep trying.
Yeah, they do. This, I cannot remember. I know that Resident Evil 3 Remake included whatever that terrible multiplayer experience was, like with the purchase price. Did they promise this with Village as well? Like if you buy Village, you'll get this eventually when it comes out, similar to what they did with 3 Remake?
Yeah, it was supposed to be either at launch or closer to launch. And they're like, how about a year and a half instead?
All right. In traditional form, we got some extra announcements from Capcom, including is this maybe the highest selling Capcom franchise, Monster Hunter? I feel like with World, it's now the highest selling.
I mean, I know World is one of the better selling games they've ever made, so maybe, yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Ooh, break the sun, explode, galaxy, flames. Oh, dead. Is a massive expansion to the Switch and PC exclusive Monster Hunter Rise. And there was a new trailer that revealed more details. It showed some of the maps and monsters fans can expect, and will be released on June 30th, 2022. Surprise, that's in 11 days from now.
Very soon.
If you're listening on Tuesday, it's 9 days.
Yeah, when I was putting this story together, the whole middle of this little section paragraph was just monster names and locations, and I'm like, I'll cut that out because Chad probably doesn't know what that is.
Nope. I played the first hour of Monster Hunter World, and I said, I don't know what's going on. And I stopped. And then we have a couple other things that came from Capcom. Exoprimal, which is where you play an exoskeleton fighting primal dinosaurs. It's a co-op dinosaur murder action game. Has revealed a new gameplay trailer and the promise of a closed network test before its launch in 2023. Trailer gave a teaser of the PvPvE game's story, gameplay, and some of the dinosaurs players will need to battle against. Not gonna lie, this one looked kind of fun. If this is a Game Pass game or if this is free to play, I will play some matches of this game.
If they don't have Indominus Rex, I don't want to play it. Jurassic World or bust, baby.
It doesn't have it, I send it back. Have you seen the new movie yet, Adam?
No, not yet.
Okay. You stick to the game.
Yeah.
Stick to the game. Last one, Capcom has officially announced Dragon's Dogma 2, a sequel to the studio's 2012 action RPG. Pause, Adam. Have you ever played Dragon's Dogma?
Yes, I have.
Is it worth playing? Is it a good game?
Some people say that. I played it when it originally came out, and I played it for a good couple hours, and then I just never got to it. And then I bought it, I think sometime last year. My friend's like, oh, it's on sale, get it. And I played it for 15 minutes and returned it to Xbox, and they gave me all my money back. So I'm sure I think a new one could be interesting. I did like parts of it, like climbing on the monsters and stuff was cool, but I just never stuck with it. But, people love it. People who love it. I enjoyed the 3 hours that I played, so I could be into a new one.
The game came out 10 years ago, and I remember playing a demo and liking the demo, but I never ended up getting the game. And then I got it free through like PlayStation Plus or something like that, and I've put it on a few barf polls, but no one's seemed to bite. So Dragon's Dogma 2 could rope me in. Hideki Itsuno is the director of the original one and announced the sequel at the end of the 10 Years of Dragon's Dogma live stream. Besides learning that the new game is being developed on the RE engine, we received no further information about the game besides a logo on a shirt worn by Itsuno. That RE engine, people are getting a lot of use out of it.
They use the hell out of that. Like,
everything's going to be so wet.
Wet and gross.
Yep, everything looks wet and delicious in that thing.
I don't know about delicious. So we can go over some of these because we went through the news. I think. Yeah. So for me, like we talked about, I think last week, getting or maybe 2 weeks ago, time circle. The modern making Resident Evil 4 remake, but doing the modern stuff, like him being able to move and shoot, but then there's like also more modern flourishes. Like, yeah, because that game was cool and back in the, but you talked about you guys played it for Barf, and that game's old and plays old, and that's an old game. Yeah. So I think them showing more modern stuff is a big plus because that's actually interesting to play now. I think
one of the biggest improvements in that game is actually going to be in audio. Like gameplay wise, yeah, it needs some improvements, but one of the things that really stood out to me in that game is I will enter an area and there's one zombie somewhere on the entire map.
You can hear it.
But you hear it as if it's in your ears because there's no spatial location in the audio at all.
Like that's not even like there's no spatial audio. There's just you shouldn't be able to hear something from that far away. Like games came out in 2001 where you could not hear somebody on the other side of the map. Once you got like within 20 feet, then all you heard was them. But it was like there was a distance so you don't hear them. But that game's just like, nah, dog, he's a mile away. You know he's here. Yep. That's cool. I think that'll be awesome. And then also all this Resident Evil 8 DLC. I don't care because I'm not going to play the Scary Werewolf game. But third person mode sounds really cool. Playing as Rose, I thought her pieces were everywhere, but I guess you can play as her now. That'll be interesting. But no, I just think them supporting that game because it was super popular, and then having third person mode, I know people are going to be into that. What about you? How do you care about either one of these, or do you care?
I've never been. So the DLC for Resident Evil games has never really roped me in. I think I played through. There's like a Happy Birthday DLC or something like that for Resident Evil 7. Like
7 had weird, like fucked up birthday. Tiny itty bitty DLCs, right?
Yeah, and I never really played through any of it because I didn't want to revisit that in tiny chunks. Like I wanted to be scared of shit for a small amount of time, and then that's it. I didn't want to come back and be scared of shit for 30 minutes at a time, out of context, where I hadn't experienced the rest of the game, and I didn't want to play it again. So the DLC, I don't know how. What does intrigue me about this DLC is that it seems like it is like weird and supernatural and fantastical, and like the quote from it is entering the consciousness of a megamycete, and the time and space were warped beyond recognition. Like that seems interesting to me. It's not just like more in the same world and just different puzzles and shit. So I might pick this up. I probably will not play through Village all the way through ever again until it comes in VR, and then I'm gonna freaking die of a heart attack. But
yeah, and the multiplayer stuff to me is not interesting at all.
Yeah, I was never into the multiplayer, like the mercenaries and stuff like that of 4 or 5. Like no, there are like unlocks that you can get from it, like kill a certain amount of enemies while this person, and you can unlock infinite ammo in the main campaign for this. And I was like, no, that never really interested me because I don't play these games thousands of different run-throughs. I remember when it came out, Holden and Brent were playing it like 8-9 times. They played Resident Evil Village all the way through and doing speed runs. And I was like, damn, dude. Play that thing once, I go and then nope, I'm done.
I'm good. And let's see what else is in here. Don't care about Monster Hunter. I think all the next gen upgrades for free is really cool because I'm never mad about free next gen upgrades.
And I will be, when Resident Evil 4 Remake comes out, I will be playing through 2 and 3 again to lead up to it. Even though they're not like directly related, and just for fun.
Number wise. And then I guess you can talk about Exoprimal. You say it sounds interesting. I don't know. Why don't they just do Dino Crisis? What is this? What is this Exoprimal stuff?
Yeah, I honestly did not watch the new stuff for it. I just remember the old trailer when they revealed it, and I was just like, yeah, that looks fun, sure. But it looks, I mean, it looks low budget a little bit. It looks kind of dumb, but it looks like it could be fun and a good time with friends when you're just bored and have nothing else to play. But again, it's like it's got to be a Game Pass or a free to play thing for me. I'm not gonna.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to spend $70 for that video game?
No, sir. No, 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 no.
Oh man. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Capcom, cool stuff. They keep making money. Do your thing.
They do. Yeah, yeah. Keep making money, man. Keep making money. Speaking of making money, Final Fantasy VII is just like they are squeezing every bit of profit and content and as they can out of that world. Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary shows off FF7 Remake Part 2, among other things. This comes from Casey David Murray Taylor. That's a lot of names.
Mm-hmm.
Square Enix has revealed the first trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, and it's officially called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Oh my God, Adam. We've been waiting so long for this. Ever since that game came out in the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, we've learned that it is now coming out winter of 2023, and that it is second in a trilogy. So there is a third part coming out after that. They've already started pre-production on the third part as well. Which I see that we also have in here already. Nomura confirmed that, yes, quote, some of the development has already begun on the as yet unnamed third title in a note following today's live stream. So here's some deets. We got another trailer. There's more Zack in the trailer. Zack Fair is his name, the guy from Crisis Core, which we'll talk about more in a second, which leads us to believe that he is a lot more of the second part. And we have so much narration and voiceover from whom we can only assume is maybe Aerith, talking about some events that are spoilery from the original game, and Zack's involvement in the whole series. I was trying to think about how do I tell this to people. Matt from Rhode Island is like, cool, who's Zack? And I was like, well, if I tell you anything about him, that might spoil the original game. And then it seems like from this trailer, it's not going to spoil shit. Because the second game is like, everything's thrown out the window, which is really interesting to me. They also revealed, as part of this remake, or as part of this 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII, they revealed a few other games coming out. We got another look at the Ever Crisis game coming out to mobile, which will kind of take all of the Final Fantasy properties that have existed. It's going to retell them in a new way on mobile in episodes. We got Crisis Core, the PSP game that Zack Fair comes from, is getting a remake for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC sometime this winter. And it's officially called Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Did you ever play this game on PSP, Adam?
No, come on. Let's be honest. I don't care about Final Fantasy.
Not a Final
I definitely
Fantasy
don't care
boy,
about a PSP Final Fantasy game.
This one was... so this is a game that originally was on the PSP. It was a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. And it came out in 2008. It is a game that is... it was a very different type of game. Final Fantasy VII had a bunch of like weird spin-offs. Like Dirge of Cerberus was a third-person action shooter starring Vincent.
Children of the Advent, right?
Well, Advent Children was the movie.
Advent Children.
It was a different type of game set in that same type of universe, but it kind of showed the history of Zack, and you see Cloud's Buster Sword, and you learn a little bit more about Cloud's origins from Zack, and but it was like there was a hub world, and you go out on adventures and track down a monster, you kill it, and come back and you upgrade shit. But it was a really good game, honestly. Like, it was one of my favorite PSP games that ever existed. So I'm really excited to see that that's getting a remake, and the fact that it is means lends more to the fact that Zack is going to be a big part of the next two games in the series as well. The game gained unexpected new relevance when Final Fantasy VII Remake seemed to include a shot-for-shot remake of Crisis Core's ending, but drastically changed its outcome, seemingly setting up prequel protagonist Zack Fair for an appearance in the main games. So, yeah, lots of good stuff coming. That's coming this winter. Part 2 coming next winter. Lots of good things. What's really interesting to me, part 2, I think they only showed that it was coming. We haven't gotten confirmation, I don't think, but it only showed PS5. Like coming to PS5 winter 2023 or whatever. Which is interesting to me that they would release like the release strategy for this entire universe of games is so weird. Like some of it's only on mobile, some of it's cross-platform with PC, and then we have like Crisis Core is cross-platform on everything. And then Final Fantasy Part 1 is on PS4 and PS5, but Part 2 is only on PS5 and not on anything. It's like, do you want
part of this announcement, I didn't put it here, but they also took Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, which I guess is the full version. It's now also on Steam instead of just Epic.
Right.
Which I didn't put that in here, but that's also an announcement that happened. So yeah, you're right. It's all over the place, what they release where, and oof,
it makes me wonder, like Square Enix does have just like a weird fucking release strategy on just about everything. But it makes me wonder, are they doing that because they want people to, they want to have a little bit of something for everybody? Final Fantasy, like, oh, if you have an Xbox, you can play this part. If you're mobile, you can play this part. Or do they want to be like, hey, you played this on Xbox, now go buy the full series on PlayStation, or go to PC and buy the full thing? Like, are they trying to convert people to a particular platform?
I don't feel like Square Enix just wants to sell copies. I don't think that they care where you get it because they're just trying to make money. I'm sure PlayStation gave them money to be exclusives.
It's probably like 4 or 5 different siloed teams not talking to each other with completely different strategies for each game that are unrelated.
One guy's like, I'm making a GameCube game. What are you guys doing? There's some interesting things, though, that I have in my mind. And this is all conspiracy because, again, I know I don't really care about Final Fantasy. I have 7 Remake installed, so I'll eventually play that one day. But I like how Part 2 is called Rebirth, right? Mm-hmm. Let's go with me on this walk. So we have Remake, which, no spoilers, but Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be very different from the original, from everything that I understand.
Yep.
The Rebirth continues that weirdness of it being a remake of an old game, but completely different. But also this Crisis Core called Reunion. Another R.
R's.
I bet Part 3 will be called Revengeance or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But I could see, because again, it's still weird that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 was supposed to be, it said console launch exclusive, and it's still only on PlayStation. So my guess is, this one is a wild one, so everyone come back to this podcast fucking 7 years from now when it happens, is that we're going to get Rebirth, we're going to get Part 3, it'll have an R in the title, of course, and then they'll re-release all of 3 together as one big package, one big game, and it'll be Final Fantasy 17, and it'll have an R in front of it, and then they'll be like also coming to whatever other consoles.
Final Fantasy 17 repackaged.
Repackaged, absolutely. And I just think that their naming and their release, I'm with you, it's kind of weird. But people are very excited. People were hyped for that first one. Them continuing it down this weird alternate reboot path is cool. And yeah, Crisis Core, people can play that this winter.
Yep. I've been itching on my iPad. So I bought and downloaded the original Final Fantasy game, the Pixel Remaster, on my iPad Mini. Mm-hmm. But I haven't started it yet. Number 1, yeah. Because I've never played that game. And so part of me...
Wait a minute. Why didn't you just buy Paradise and kill Chaos? Because that's just one, right?
Because I didn't enjoy the demo that I played. I hated that demo a lot.
It's a very bad game that people think it's very funny. Yeah.
Yep. So part of me is like, do I start that? Or do I play through all the Final Fantasy VII remastered? Or Final Fantasy VII, the original game, remastered on PS4, get some trophies along the way in order to prep for Crisis Core, and then I just keep putting off that Pixel Remaster.
But you know this Crisis Core is not going to be the same Crisis Core from PSP. They're definitely going to be like, it's the same until it's not.
Yeah. But I kind of want to... I also have my PSP Go with Crisis Core on it. So maybe
go play that too?
Maybe I just kind of want to, like, before we get to all the new shit that's going to dramatically change, I just want to know, like, refresh myself on the old stuff. Because I haven't played it since I was, 15 years old. So I just want to like refresh myself on what that whole thing is, so I know just how different the new stuff is and where everything changes. So maybe I'll play that soon.
You should just play all the old ones just to have fun, because it won't matter. I do want to give Square Enix, as much as I don't really care about Final Fantasy, the unmitigated gall for them to make this game, you know, like with the Final Fantasy VII name, know what that means to people, doing something different. And then again, I know spoilers for the game because I'm like, I don't care. I'll listen to a spoiler cast. How they do it and change stuff up. I'll just say Ghost. I love that. I love that whole thing. You've played Final. You know what I'm talking. You know exactly what I'm talking about. What? Meta Ghost, huh? That's what we do. Insane. I kind of give them props. So I kind of like it. I think it's fucking crazy. But anyways, I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't played it yet.
God, that whole last hour and a half, 2 hours of that game is just fucking amazing. I can't wait for you to experience it. It's so cool. Even if you hate Final Fantasy, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I don't hate Final Fantasy. I just don't, you know.
Yeah.
Talky Japanese people, you know.
That's it for the announcements. We had the Final Fantasy VII. We had the Capcom kind of wrapping up that Summer Games Fest block. The Naughty 3. Wow. Like a naughty cat. That's going to bring us now to playtime, where we talk about what we played this week. We've got some things in common, Adam. Tell me what you played.
Looks like a lot of it's in common. So first off, I played more Elden Ring. I recorded a podcast earlier today with my friend. It'll be Zang This is the name of the podcast. So it'll come out, I think, Thursday.
Zang, Z-A-N-G?
Z-E-N-G.
Z-E-N, got it, okay.
Zang, or Zing. No,
Zing,
again,
Zang?
it's
Zang.
Zang, yeah. So we're talking about that. He wanted someone on who played it. I was like, well, I've played like 70, I think I'm at like 73 hours at this point. So I played more of that to get ready for him. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm on my New Game Plus 3 and I have 180 hours. I'm like, thanks for having me on. I didn't realize he was that into it because I had to convince him to buy the game.
Oh, really?
He's like, who's played it? Because he didn't buy it for like a month after. And he's like, who played it? Can you give me a recommendation? I'm like, you know, dude, try it. I think you'll like this one. And now, like I said, he's beaten the game 3 times and he's 180 hours in. I'm like, I don't know how you've played that game this much. So yeah, more Elden Ring. That was fun. But we'll go to the new stuff, which is exciting. TMNT, that's the Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Shredder's Revenge. Game beats ass. This game beats so much ass in all the ways, right? It is that opening just being like, yo, here's the cartoon.
Yep.
Opening, which basically is really cool. God, it's so good. So again, I play beat 'em ups. They're fine. They're whatever. This game is like if you had nostalgia for something, but it's modern and your brain has convinced you that this is what your nostalgia is. That's what this game does.
Yeah.
Because you actually go back and play those games, you're like, oh, no, this is an old game. This game makes you think you're playing an old game, but it's actually new and modern. And it's really fucking cool and it's really fun. And I am loving this game. I'm playing the story mode right now, playing as Donatello, of course, which I love. Remember how I said this a week or two ago when we were talking about this game? And I was like, well, Donnie's my favorite because he has reach. And he literally has the longest reach in the video game.
Yes, he does.
Like,
yes, he does.
He has 3 stars next to his range. I'm like, yeah, you know what's up. So I've been having an awesome time. Just beat up Bebop and Rocksteady, then beat him up in a truck.
Nice.
Having a good time with that. You played it too, so I guess you might as well talk about it now, right?
Yeah, I played it. I'm playing a Splinter, though, because he's got 2 stars in reach, but 3 in power.
Real strong, yeah.
Dude's a real strong rat. And I'm still not good at these games. That was part of my hesitation about this. Was like, thank God it's on Game Pass because I'm not going to pay money for a game that I'm absolutely terrible at. Just suck at beat 'em ups. I don't know how to manage like who's on my plane. The beginning of the game is like, cool, you're about to get started. Here's all the moves, all 21 of them. You're not going to get to practice them yourselves. You're just going to watch us do 21 moves in a row. Hope you remember. But I started playing it. I put it on chill mode, like as easy as it gets. And I'm still like barely making it through these things.
You're having that much trouble, huh?
I'm so bad at this game. I literally have no idea how I'm this bad at beat 'em ups, but I am. Same thing with Scott Pilgrim. But
I'm not like super good at it, but I'm not having that much. I like lose a life on the boss at the very end, maybe.
If you die, do you come back? I have not died yet.
You have 3 lives.
Okay.
If you play by yourself, you have 3 lives. I don't know if
I
it
have not
changes in
died
multiplayer,
yet. But I've like gotten down to a sliver of health almost every single round before I beat the boss. Having a fun time though. I wanted to play it just to see what it was like, and I found myself saying, I could play one more level, and I beat that. Yeah, I could play one more level, and now I'm on level 7. So yeah, I beat Bebop, Rocksteady, the fucking beefy guy, and
beefy
the ground.
guy, huh?
Yeah, he's like what is it? Ground Chuck, I think, is one of them. Ground Chuck and beef steak or something.
Yeah, please explain. I just want a series of Chad trying to explain TMNT villains to everybody.
So here's the thing. I have not watched TMNT in a very long time, and I don't remember a lot of it. I know there's Bebop and Rocksteady. I know there's a guy who's like a little fly. I know there's
Baxter
Krang.
Stockman.
But I fought. There's this guy who's like he's a horse, or not a horse. Sorry,
Yeah.
he's a cow. He's a cow. He's like a Terminator cow. Like half of his face is like the Terminator, and his name is like Beefcake or something like that, or steak.
Beefcake. I hope so.
Steak cake. And then there's another guy. It's a team up battle, and Beefcake and then another guy.
Ground Chuck, I believe.
Ground Chuck. Yes, that is actually this guy's name though.
Is it actually?
It is. Yeah, he goes under the ground and stuff like that. Beat them. Beat Bebop and Rocksteady's truck. And then
I wonder if Rat King's in the game.
Yes,
sure
I beat
he is.
Rat King, and I got an achievement for beating him as Splinter.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yep. So I beat Rat King, and there was some wizardy lady that like summons a guy who burps clouds, and then there's another turtle that goes and spins around and goes ah.
I wonder if is it Razor? There's the bad guys from the second live action movie who are knockoff Bebop and Rocksteady.
I didn't see the second live action movie. I'm sorry.
You have seen Secret of the Ooze?
Oh, sorry.
With
I was thinking of
Vanilla
Michael
Ice?
Bay. Sorry. Yes, I have
No.
seen Secret of the Ooze. It's been like 20 years, but I've seen Secret of the Ooze. Yeah.
I think I want to say Toka and Razor, but I might be wrong. They're knockoff Bebop and Rocksteady. I wonder if they're in the game. I hope so. This game has everything. If they ever made a toy out of it, it's probably in the game.
Yep. Yeah, it's got everything. I'm collecting. There are like little. You bust open a trash can and there's a frog waiting in it for you, and picking up stinky bugs,
newspapers, all the good stuff.
Newspapers, little girls' diaries, finding them all over the place. Having a good time with it, and it's 16 episodes. Each episode's like 5 minutes long. I'm on number 7 already, and I've played for maybe 45 minutes. So it's a good time.
Yeah.
And then we both played Life is Strange True Colors, which is our barf game for the month. So we will be talking about that at the end of the month, and the month is next week, bruh.
Pretty soon,
Woo.
Yep.
So we'll be talking about that for barf backlog accomplishment with Respawn and Friends because y'all told us to.
Now, real quick on that, because we already talked about it on barf. I don't know, because this isn't really set up like the other ones, because I think it's one game instead of like, oh, you played part 1, now go to part. I might be wrong. I don't know. It seems like it's one continuous game compared to episodic. But let me tell you, ray tracing in frame rate mode, game looks great. Runs super smooth, and there's literally like she has reflections in her glasses, dude. Every time she looks at a light, you see a little reflection. I'm like, yeah, ray tracing.
I have
that's
not
fun.
even played around with the display preferences. I just assumed that it was an indie game, so it didn't have those kind of options. But
They have ray tracing, and then they have resolution, and they have frame rate mode.
I will check that out because I don't think I'm playing on frame rate mode right now.
It defaults to resolution mode. I would say switch to frame rate immediately. Well, you're probably done with it, but you know.
No, I just beat episode 2 of 5 or chapter 2 of 5 today.
Okay.
So still making my way down.
Pay attention though. They have ray tracing in the game. It's just in glass, like reflections and stuff. But if you look, it's like, oh, that's the ceiling light. It's like only when I turn this angle I can see it. It's pretty cool.
Dope. I'll check that out. Shout out to DF and Smitty in the chat who says Red Panda. If you're playing the meta game, go to Twitter, see our little tweet that says tell us your favorite animal, and then I said tell us it's Red Panda. So thanks, Dallas.
Very nice.
Last thing I played this week was Destiny 2. I know, nothing new, but wait, I did play something new, a new part of it that I've never played before. Well, I played like once or twice. Trials of Osiris, Adam, is the worst part of the game.
Yeah. No one plays it, right?
It is the highest of highest competitive PvP part of the game. And everyone always goes in with a full squad of people, and they're all playing the meta, and it's a miserable time. But there, like last year sometime, it has cool exclusive gear, so you can get a really cool set of armor, and they have brand new ones that they just launched this season. So like if you're a hunter, you get one that makes you look like a baboon. If you're a warlock, you get one that makes you look like some giant feathered fucking eagle bird thing.
Dinosaur?
No, dinosaurs were last year's Halloween costumes. So I have Triceratops.
But there are feathered dinosaurs, is all I'm saying.
There are feathered dinosaurs. Jurassic World, hashtag.
It came
it's
after
real.
Chris Pratt in the water. I saw it.
So last year, there was like a weekend or two where there was a way that you could get pieces or certain guns from it or pieces of armor if you basically just went in with a squad of people and jumped off the cliff and died. And you just basically got a participation trophy, which was the week's gun. But it took like 20 minutes of just literally going in and jumping off a cliff and dying. And so we did that.
Might as well let people shoot you at that point.
Well, it was a lot faster to jump off a cliff.
Okay, yeah.
So we did that and got like a gun or two. But now they changed the way that progression works in Destiny 2 for a lot of the different things. So for this one, it's more like the more you play, the more points you accrue, and then points unlock at different levels to give you gear and stuff like that. So now I have the entire set of armor. I have almost every single Trials gun because I've just been working my way up that thing. And it's like you get points based on the number of wins that you have each weekend, which does not come very quickly.
Yeah.
So for the first like half hour of me playing, I was getting 0 progress every single one until I finally won a match, and then I was getting like 5 points of progress. Now I'm getting like 260 per round. Yeah, ooh. I'm a big deal.
Okay.
But I got everything I needed. I have everything from it except for like one gun, and I don't even want that gun, so I'm fucking done with Trials of Osiris for the rest of time until they reveal new armor, because I fucking hate that mode a lot. Lots of losing, not fun.
I just love how they put gear and cosmetics behind ranked multiplayer, where the most sweaty people of all time live. Yeah. That is insane. But hey, you got your stuff, so that's all that matters.
Yep. That's it for playtime. We are moving on to our quest log, talking about some things that showed up this week. Starting with some Blizzard announcements around Overwatch 2, coming from Joe Screbbles. Last week we got news saying that Overwatch 2 is coming October 2nd, early access, gonna be free to play, but we have some new details. They revealed a content roadmap that says they are going to do seasons, surprise, every 9 weeks, and big surprise, there's gonna be a battle pass involved. Just like basically every other multiplayer game, you are now going to rank up a battle pass that has 100 levels on it that includes all sorts of XP boosts and cosmetics. And that will change out every 9 weeks. Season 1 of the game is going to begin on the launch date October 4th. Excuse me. It's going to include 3 new heroes. That's Sojourn, Junker Queen, and the unannounced support hero. There will be 6 new maps, more than 30 new skins, and then a new game mode, which is the previously announced push. And then finally a new mythic skin, which is the new most rare cosmetic type. 2023 will also include the rollout of the game's long-awaited PvE content, which I think most, like, if there was any demand for Overwatch stuff, it was always PvE content. And that is coming next year. It's not coming with the launch of Overwatch 2. It's coming next year, and it's going to advance the story of the game. The roadmap also sees Blizzard promise cross-progression across platforms, which is really cool to see. So despite it maybe being a Microsoft game in the very near future, it will still, you can still play it for free anywhere, and all of your stuff carries over. If you buy something on a PlayStation platform, you can play it for free on Xbox, which is dope. And this is a good, well, it is a change in ways that they make money. Jeff Goodman says, along with the free-to-play change, we're doing away with loot boxes entirely. We have a new Battle Pass model coming in, and we have a store as well, so players have a lot more control over how they interact with the game and acquire new content. I'm in favor of that. I think in general, over the last few years, ever since like the lawsuits and the transparency laws that have been made, like you have to disclose your chances of getting something in this loot box. We've seen loot boxes disappear quite a bit in favor of the Battle Pass that Fortnite started, basically, and so many other things have adopted now. So what I love about it is just the straight-up transparency. Like, you need to work this hard in order to get this one thing that you want, or buy it for money in the store. So, fully in support of that. Adam, I don't know your Overwatch history. Does any of this, like, get you super jazzed? Are you an Overwatch dude?
Let's see. No, I'm not Overwatch, dude.
Okay.
But free to play makes me be like, I don't know, maybe I could do it this time. If I have a crew, and I can't complain because it's free to play,
Yeah.
I actually might jump into it on October 4th. We'll see if I got people who want to play with me. Because everything they're saying is great. Every 9 weeks, good. I like those shorter, like long enough to level it out, but not too long. I think like a 9 weeks is a great time for a season. I love the battle pass and just buy it shit if you want it. You know, I'm not into Overwatch skins because I don't play it, but maybe I am. But I just like the opportunity to like, oh, just buy the one that you think is cool because I don't want to do the other stuff. Yeah, I don't really mind loot boxes depending on the game, but in a game that's just cosmetics, it doesn't really feel super good. And yeah, I just like that. Yeah, we're gonna keep supporting stuff, new characters, new skins, new maps. You know, PvE. I'll definitely check out the PvE if that's free as well. No reason not to play like a single player shooter. So I'm all about it. I'm thinking about it. If there's nothing going on in early October, I'm probably going to jump in. They've done enough to convince me like this is a thing that I'm willing to play. I'll give it a chance.
I will tell you, no matter how much they convince you, do not play with your PC friends while you're playing on console. Not a fun time. Not a fun time.
You never do that. Funny story about that, right? We were playing back in a couple of months ago. We got into Rogue Company for like a month, right? Which is like a free to play, choose your heroes shooter kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So we were doing that. And we were playing. We were all on console. But one of our friends was on PC and wasn't telling us because he just didn't want to switch to his console. He's like, I'll just play my PC. And because of that, we matched up with nothing but PC players.
Gross.
We were good. We were good at the game on console. And we were like, why are we literally getting dicked down constantly? Like, we couldn't get a kill. Like, we would just die immediately. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this so hard today? And then, 3 matches in, he's like, by the way, guys, sorry I'm on PC. It's like, you son of a bitch. You got us killed. Like, we can't. I love that the crossplay is a thing. I do not want to crossplay with PC people because they're too good.
Yep.
No, thank you.
I hate the way that Overwatch does it.
Yeah. If I sit down on PC, it's fine. If I also have the ability to move and click, I'm better. But if I don't know and I'm like, why am I getting headshot by everybody? It's like, oh, because they're on PC. Does Overwatch not tell you?
Overwatch in particular, if you crossplay with PC people, it turns off any aim assist on the controller.
Yeah, because you're okay.
Yep. Which is terrible.
Yeah, rough.
Speaking of Xbox stuff, Todd Howard tells all about Starfield and more, says Joe Screbbles. So Todd Howard has confirmed to IGN that Fallout 5 will be Bethesda Game Studios' next game after The Elder Scrolls 6, which itself will follow on from 2023's Starfield. And in fact, he says, quote, yes, Elder Scrolls 6 is in pre-production, he said. And we're going to be doing Fallout 5 after that. So our slate's pretty full going forward for a while. We have some other projects that we look at from time to time as well. So Starfield's coming out next year. Elder Scrolls 6 is in pre-production right now. And
so another 7 years after that.
Exactly. And then after that, Fallout 5. So we are going to be stuck with Fallout 76 and Fallout 76 updates for a long time, everyone.
Now, here's the thing. Remember, I brought up my most popular tweet of all time, and it was a story that Obsidian was like, hey, we could probably do a New Vegas 2 now. So maybe we'll get a New Vegas in the meantime while they're taking, 15 years to make Fallout 5.
You know what I did see? I don't know I assume this is on Game Pass, but I did see that the new PlayStation game library, if you're on like the extra tier for PS3 games, includes New Vegas, which I've never played before. I'm okay. Maybe I'll jump into that and see if I like that better than anything else.
Yeah, probably not.
It was
great at the time, but it's an old game.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. Speaking of Starfield in particular, Starfield includes more handcrafted content than any Bethesda game, alongside its procedural galaxy. Todd Howard told us more about the game's approach to procedural generation, what it offers, and assures that players can ignore them in favor of a huge amount of fully handcrafted content if they want to. Of that content, Starfield will have 4 major cities for players to explore, including New Atlantis, which is the biggest that the developer Bethesda has ever made. Howard said that New Atlantis, which is the capital city of the United Colonies, is not just the biggest in this game, but bigger than anything in Skyrim, Fallout 4, or any of the developers' previous games. So lots of handcrafted content to explore. It's not just going to be 1,000 boring-ass planets. Todd Howard also said Starfield features a unique take on space combat, and that it was partly inspired by FTL and MechWarrior. And yes, when you board a ship, you can steal that ship. So that gives 0.005% more intrigue into this game for me, knowing that there is some good handcrafted content, and it's not just procedurally generated plants that you're going to explore on 1,000 different planets. So I'm happy for people that they're going to experience fun stuff. But Adam, I know that you're a fan of almost all of the properties that have been named here. How does this strike you? Are you excited?
Yeah, I knew it wouldn't do anything for you, but I thought that was cool because, again, 1,000 Planets, they were like, I like how he explained it. It's like, yes, there is a lot of handcrafted stuff. The other stuff, like No Man's Sky, was procedurally generated. So I like that they're like, you can go explore and do this, have fun exploring the universe if you want to. But if you just want to stick to like what was created and handcrafted by us, there's more of that than ever before. Which I'm like, I think it's best of both worlds. So people who want to just explore random stuff can do that, but also feel like I just want to stick to the golden path and whatever the stuff you made, it's also more than you've ever had before. So I think that's a good balance compared to just them saying at the end of the presentation there's 1,000 planets and then not saying anything else. People were like, well, what does that mean? So now we know what it means. It's like there's a lot of good stuff and then there's stuff procedural. Do whatever you want with that. So for me, again, I was already excited about it, but hearing more about what the game actually is and what's actually created for it is cool. And then they said the word FTL, and I said, oh, yeah, buddy, because that game is fantastic. Everyone should play it. And being able to steal ships is cool. So, yeah, everything was cool for me. And then you will not see Fallout 5 until, what year is it? Probably 2035.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe.
We might be in a fallout from a nuclear war in Russia by the time you see Fallout 5.
It might be. I did include this as a story. All this information came from like Xbox had the developer show. It was like much longer and they sat down with people or whatever. Actually, I think this was an interview with IGN specifically, but there was another thing like that. And they ended that. So Stalker 2, which is a game, was supposed to come out last year. It got pushed. And they were like, oh, here's why I got pushed, because the developers are in Ukraine. And that show literally ended with like, hey, I'm the community manager of Stalker 2. We're excited to try to get the game to you by early 2023. And he's in the field with a vest and a gun. And it's like, oh, shit. Like, these dudes are literally in the middle of war. They're like, we're still going to do our thing, guys. It's like, good on them. Hope those guys are safe. But it's wild to be like, this is why the game's delayed, because I literally have to fight a war right now.
Yeah.
So just thought that was crazy. Thought that was a crazy thing.
Yeah. We've got two games that you might or might not be excited for. I'm personally excited for both. That almost didn't exist. Fun story here from George Yang. Oh, our boy George Yang. Remember his name.
I saw his picture today.
You did?
I saw his picture. Yeah.
Are you sure it was the right one and not the one running for a public office in California?
I think they're the same person. I'm telling you, the same person. No, I saw his picture next to his byline. There's my boy George right here. I love this guy.
Well, George Yang tells us that before Google scaled back its first-party development for Stadia, which was its video game streaming platform, two games were reportedly in the works for the platform. One of them was Supermassive's The Quarry, which just came out to a lot of really great reviews, lots of social media buzz around it. And Squanch Games' High on Life, which is the new game that was revealed last week from the creators of Rick and Morty, and where all the guns talk to you, and it's going to be fucking hysterical, and I can't wait.
Yes.
According to Axios, both games were in development at the tech giant before Google closed its internal development studios. And the Quarry from Supermassive was actually picked up by 2K when that happened. So when its parent company Take-Two Interactive was asked by Axios about Google, the rep simply stated that the publisher was happy with its decision and that the studio, quote, was looking for a publishing partner as the project came to completion. Back in 2020, they actually announced a partnership together, Google and Supermassive, but they didn't reveal any other details. Now it looks like the project they were working on together was The Quarry. High on Life was actually only recently revealed, and it was never really associated for at least publicly with Stadia in the first place. And a rep from Squanch Games didn't comment on whether it was originally in development over at Google, and just repeated to Axios that it was coming to the aforementioned platforms. This is great to see that despite Google canceling first-party stuff, like those games are not just gone forever. Like that's something that, like from Amazon, that I assume all these things that they're canceling left and right, that we will never see the light of day. But it's good that like Google just like released these things like, hey, you can take the property from us, or we partnered with someone else and they own the IP and we were just going to publish it, but now it's like take it wherever you want. So that's good to see that these things are happening. But it also made me think that I don't think I saw the Stadia logo once over the last 2 weeks of any announcements.
Probably not. Don't think so.
Damn.
I do think that how insane that this was, that we almost didn't get the fact, again, Google's like, we're going to do this big initiative. We're doing Stadia. Like you said, they hired people and they were working with studios and stuff. And again, this is just, a report, but it's pretty scary to think that those two games could have just never either. Both of these scare the shit out of me, that they would have never existed because Stadia stopping being a thing, just like stopped the development of those games, just ceased to exist, or they released exclusively for Stadia, which is also just as scary. And again, both these games are really cool because the Quarry, like you said, everyone likes the Quarry. We're both excited for High on Life. And there's a world where either neither one of these existed or we had to had Google to play them. So as much as I'm interested in the streaming in the technology and pushing that forward, I'm glad that Google gave up like we knew they would. And then we get to play these games other ways, because both of those things happening scares me. Getting canceled or having to play it on Stadia. I wouldn't have enjoyed either one of those.
It makes me really curious, like seeing Stadia completely drown makes me really curious. Microsoft's obviously got the money. Well, Google had the money, but Microsoft's, streaming thing, and then announced a couple weeks ago the partnership with Samsung, where like Game Pass will be built into Samsung TVs as part of an app, and that kind of like, it's essentially the same type of thing. You're streaming games with a controller. Like, I'm curious how Microsoft is going to make it work where Google couldn't.
I mean, we can. So even between Microsoft and even Sony with PS Now, I know PS Now is a little different now that they rolled it all in.
Yeah.
But those are two companies who were like, even with PlayStation with PSVR, they're like, oh, we're willing to do a thing for longer than a year to see if we want it to work, so we're going to put the time into it. Google's a company where we're got to make money. Did it not work quick enough? Get rid of it. I mean, that's just how that company has always operated. So I have more, faith in, those Sony and Microsoft to continue it. The minute that Google announced it, I'm like, that'll be gone in a year, because that's what Google does. If it doesn't make $1 billion immediately, get rid of it. So I think that technology will continue and will keep being a thing, especially because they're like, the fact that they're still doing things like putting it on Samsung TV, that's new. That just happened last week. So I have more faith in that than Google, who just, if I didn't bring Google $10, they would have me killed because I didn't make them enough money in a week. That's just the company that is. So,
Our last two stories. First one being, hey, all you Kojima nerds, you can calm down. This comes from Ryan Dinsdale, no relation to Ashley Tisdale. Kojima Productions has made clear it still has a good relationship with PlayStation, despite announcing an Xbox exclusive game. Hideo Kojima revealed his studio would be making, quote, a completely new game that no one has ever experienced or seen before. Okay, so we know it's not a remaster. At the Xbox Bethesda Game Showcase on June 12th, causing some to question the studio's ties to PlayStation. Quote, after the announcement of our partnership with Microsoft using cloud technology, many people have asked us about our collaboration with Sony, the Kojima Productions Twitter page posted. Please be rest assured that we continue to have a very good partnership with PlayStation as well. The Xbox announcement led to an outcry among some fans of Kojima who felt the legendary developer shouldn't move away from his ties to PlayStation. Some have even set up petitions to ask for Kojima Productions not to work on an Xbox game. But Kojima Productions is an independent studio, and as it said in another tweet, quote, we'll explore various possibilities with games, movies, and music through platforms that evolve with time and technology. So y'all can calm down. He's still going to work on Sony shit. We know from Norman Reedus that he's working on Norman Reedus the sequel, so I'm sure that's going to come to PlayStation as well. I just love his sentence about we're making a completely new game that no one's experienced or seen before.
You've never seen it.
We've never shown you the game, and we've never released it. Therefore, that
I do think there's two interesting things about this story. First of all, that is a hilarious quote. I love that. But I remember when we were talking about it last week, you're like, is Kojima working with Xbox, or is it? No, it's actually Kojima Productions is working.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because that's his studio. Again, fanboy stuff can be fun at times, but the fact that people were literally upset, please don't ever do that. You have to only work with the box that I own, and have a petition. It's bro, please calm down. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Relax. It's not that. It's literally a dude like, oh, can I have a contract to make a video game? Thank you very much. That's it. He doesn't play favorites. He's trying to make money and make cool products.
Yep.
I just think that's hilarious. They're like relaxed nerds. He makes video games. Calm down. I just thought that particular quote is hilarious. That people are like, oh my God, please don't make an Xbox game because Sony will disown you. Sony won't give a shit. They're like, hey, Kojima, you're cool. Make another game for us after you finish that one. I just thought that was funny.
Yep.
All these quotes are very funny to me.
Yep. Last one, Valheim coming to console, says Joe Screbbles. This was announced during the Xbox Showcase Extended, which was like the several days later, show you some more behind-the-scenes things with developers. Announced during that, Valheim will arrive on PC Game Pass this fall, and will finally head to consoles via Xbox One and Series X and S in spring of 2023. The Steam version, the Microsoft Store, and the Xbox versions of Valheim will all come with full crossplay. Valheim launched into early access last year, and it immediately became a huge surprise hit. The unyielding survival game set in a Viking afterlife world recently passed 10 million sales. This is a game that like people immediately latched onto during the pandemic. They were like, this game, that's all I heard about for weeks was Valheim. This is kind of like a resource crafting, survival, build your shit, but also fight type game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
survival craft stuff, but you're in, fucking doing, again, Viking and Norse mythology worlds and stuff.
Yeah. So that's coming to console for the first time next year. Super dope. Yep. And assuming it's coming to PC Game Pass, so I assume it's also going to be coming to console Game Pass. I don't know if that was like explicitly stated, but it's implied there. You
would assume so. I think it's cool. Again, people were very into it. I always wanted to play it. I just never got around to it because I needed friends. But again, popular games coming. And of course, it was an Xbox showcase. They only talked about Xbox. I'm sure it's also going to come to PlayStation because Valheim, the company, doesn't have any loyalties, I think. So I just think it's cool that a very popular survival game gets to come everywhere. And Chad needs to start playing survival games. Stop being such a hater. No big deal.
Well, maybe if they made a more interesting... I don't know. I am into Viking shit, so maybe this one will. Maybe this will hook me. Mm-hmm. That's it for our quest log, but we've got 2 segments left, including one from Adam. Segment from Adam. Ooh.
Can you do the song that you guys sung during Urinetown?
I will pee on you, little girl. I will pee on you, little girl. Segment from Adam, brought to you by R. Kelly.
Oh God, what a crazy story! You guys need to be here before the podcast goes live. So,
yeah, be in our homes, hack my HomeKit cameras, and view my live stream,
and see what we talked about 5 minutes before. So I've got a thing. Today is Father's Day and Juneteenth, which is a new American national holiday, which is June 19th, 1865 was so Emancipation Proclamation was 1863, which freed all black people from being slaves. June 19th, 1865 is when that news reached Texas. So that is the day that the last black person was no longer a slave in the United States. It's crazy that took 2 years, but I guess there weren't phones and shit. So whatever.
I'm sure people told Texas and they were like, yeah, I'll wait till I see it in writing.
Yeah. We don't know about that. So that's why Juneteenth is a holiday. That's what it's about. The last, that's when black people were officially completely free everywhere in the United States. So going with that, have your little history lesson. Chad, you're going to have a good time with this one. I made a list of the best black characters in video games, and we're going to make a bracket, and we're going to have a winner. But the real winner is everybody, because black people are cool. So there's technically not one black person better than another black person. That's all I will say there right now. But we're going to have fun with this. So I got a question for you.
Okay.
I don't know how we're doing on time overall. Do you want to have an 8-person bracket or a 16-person bracket? Again, it just adds a couple minutes if we need a couple extra minutes.
Let's do 16. Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. This is not a knock on black people. This is a knock on the video game industry. When you said the coolest black video game characters, I was like, I can't think of that many black video game characters. Like, that's a commentary on the video game industry. So, 16? Yeah, please tell me who 16 black video game characters are. I would love to hear as many as I can.
Now, what's going to be funny is some of these are jokes, but they're very good jokes.
Okay.
So we'll do 16. So I have a list of 27 is what I made personally.
Okay.
And we're going to do RNG and we're going to do 16 of them. So let me click my RNG generator. Number 2. So we're going to have Lee Everett from The Walking Dead.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Against Lee Everett from The Walking Dead against Mace Windu. Because there have been many Star Wars games and Mace Windu is in those. So between Lee Everett from The Walking Dead and Mace Windu, who do you think is a more interesting character in video games?
Okay, so that's the idea, is interesting. Like, who's the more
Best black characters. That's what I wrote.
Okay, best black character. Okay. 100% Lee Everett is more developed in his pinky finger than Mace Windu is. Mace Windu is just Samuel L. Jackson holding a lightsaber. That's all it is. So
he is holding a purple lightsaber, though.
I will remind you. So yeah, we're definitely going to go Lee Everett there. Plus, Samuel L. Jackson has so many other things that he's making a ton of money from him being in. Like Lee's, spoilers, Lee's dead. He needs a win.
Yeah.
He needs a win.
I get that. Okay, all right, that's good. More generators. So next we have Blade, just the man Blade who kills vampire killer, half vampire man.
Okay.
Against Bo Jackson, the famous sports player, football player / baseball player. Bo knows, everyone knows him, very famous player. He was a cheat code in a video game. Literally, if you had Bo Jackson, you could not be beaten in the sports video game as a kid. So do you think Blade or Bo Jackson is the best character?
Okay, so technically, Blade. Well, my argument was going to be that, like, Blade is immortal, but I mean, if Bo Jackson can't be beat, he kind of is immortal too.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta stick with the super. So far, we've got a zombie in here with Lee Everett, and now we need a vampire. So we're gonna go with Blade.
Blade. All right.
Yep.
Sorry, Bo Jackson, you are gone from history. You do no longer exist. Next, we have Clementine, also from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Versus Lola from After Party. So you ever played After Party, which was the people who made oh god, what was the game they made where the kids would talk on the radio with the ghost?
I have not played After Party, but I'm looking at pictures of her right now.
Yeah. What's the other game that they made? That company. I can't think of it.
Oh, After Party's the game where you're like down in hell,
you're
like
in hell,
Satan's bar or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know that game. Yeah, what else did they make? Did they...
They're making a 2 of that they have a very popular game and I cannot think of it. Where you talk to radio on the ghost radio.
After Party game dev. As soon as I see the name of the developer, I will know exactly.
It's like Night School?
Night School. Oxenfree.
Oxenfree, that's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Who are we playing?
Lola or Clementine?
Lola or Clementine. Okay. New is always better. That's what Neil Patrick Harris taught me in How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
So, I've played a bunch of Clementine's story. I have not played any of After Party, so we're going to go with Lola.
Okay. I believe that she's voiced by Janina Von Carr or whatever.
Ooh. Dallas in the chat, DF and Smitty says, Bo, no! This is bullshit, Chad.
Bo knows, man. Bo knows. Let's see. What else do we got here? Next, we have Silence, of course, from Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, played by...
Yes.
What's
by
that
Zavala.
Yeah, also that guy. Against Michael Jordan. Silence against Michael Jordan. What do you got?
So, if we're using the word best, Silence is not the best anything in Horizon Zero Dawn. And in fact, he's even a bad guy at times. So, well, maybe he's not in the new one. I haven't played the new one yet. So we're going to go with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's sticking around. He's the best.
I mean, he is basically the best basketball player of all time besides, a couple other people. So yeah, he's very good.
Silence didn't even know what the internet was.
Idiot. All right. No, we've already done that one. Come on, number generator. So next we have Barrett from Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Okay.
Probably the remake version of him because I think
I
he's
was
more
going to say, because the first one was
yeah.
like a really racist version of Barrett.
We'll not do that.
Okay.
Verse Franklin Clinton from GTA 5. So Franklin, the character that you play, that is the black character. So Barrett versus Franklin.
Franklin. I know nothing about Franklin. He's
You
not.
never played GTA 5?
I've never played GTA 5's story mode, and I've watched people play online. Is he like the batshit crazy one, or is that
No, that's
Michael?
Trevor.
Trevor. Is there a guy
Trevor's
named
the
Michael in
crazy
that
one.
game?
Michael is the guy the rich dude.
Okay. Who else is? It's not Franklin. Franklin and who else?
It's Franklin and Barrett.
Barrett. Well, got to go with Barrett just because he's like, he has a special place in my heart from Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's fine. That works. That is winner number 5. Sorry, Franklin, you got to go. Maybe we'll get another GTA character in here. All right. Let's see. Number 3. We've already done number 3. 12. All right. God, I died when this one happened. So, 50 Cent, the rapper.
Okay. From Blood and
From
Sand.
50 Cent, Bulletproof, and Blood on the Sand. So 50 Cent, the human being in the video game, or we've already done that one. Shaquille O'Neal from Shaq Fu and basketball games. Those are 2 real people. Look at that.
Yes. Shaq owns Papa John's right now, right?
He does.
He took something that was delicious, but was ruled by a tyrant and has made it the best. So we're gonna go with Shaq.
We're gonna go with Shaq. Okay, so that is number 6. All right, we got to get 2 more black folks, and then we'll. This is an insane list. Sorry, 50 Cent. You have no idea how happy I was when 50 Cent's name came up. All right, so we have Sergeant Avery Johnson from Halo. So remember the early Halo games, the sergeant, the black dude who was with you.
Okay.
Sergeant Johnson, as some people call him, and Colt from Deathloop, which is the main player character.
Here's the thing. Avery Johnson, I'm getting a lot of Spurs images coming up.
Oh, it's also the name of a basketball coach.
Okay. I just started playing Deathloop, and I'm fucking loving Colt. So he's the best one by far for me.
Gotcha. I like Colt a lot.
And I don't even remember this basketball coach who was in Halo. So
I don't remember that guy at all. All right, we're gonna go our last matchup. That one's already good. Man, I hope we don't miss some of these good ones. All right, Marcus Holloway, which is the main character from Watch Dogs 2. So Watch Dogs 2 player character versus Black Panther.
oh, come on. You cannot pair someone up against Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther. Of course. That was like any of these other people who are in this bracket, as soon as they come up against Chadwick Boseman.
Now remember, it's not Chadwick Boseman, it's Black Panther from video games.
You're right.
It's a little different. So like Marvel versus Capcom, like that, that version of.
Okay,
Black
pause
Panther.
then. Okay. So Marcus Holloway, tell me a little bit. I never played Watch Dogs 2. I only played a little bit of 1. Tell me I'm just looking at pictures of him. He's got buttons on the strap.
Yeah, you're in San Francisco. He's a very our age tech dude.
Yeah.
He's a hacker boy who beats people up in San Francisco and hacks stuff.
All right, we're going for best, and I'm not gonna lie. If it's not Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, he's not the best character in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. He's not the best character in the new Avengers game. So I'm gonna go with Marcus Holloway.
All right, Marcus Holloway. So real quick, I'm gonna name off some names that didn't make it.
Okay.
That were really fun. So of course we have Cole from Gears of War, famous
Cole
guy.
Train.
CJ Johnson from San Andreas. You a buster, CJ.
I never played San
The
Andreas.
character you play in San Andreas. Oh my god, it's the character you play in San Andreas.
I've never played a GTA game except for Chinatown, not Chinatown Wars, Vice City Stories on PSP.
You're insane. Lincoln Clay from Mafia 3, which is the main character. Evelyn, which is the assassin from Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. The Vita one, not PSP.
Right.
I'm really mad we didn't get this one. Miles Morales from Spider-Man Miles
Oh
Morales.
fuck, he would have won everything.
Yeah, but he didn't get picked. Grace Walker from Wolfenstein.
Oh, she was great too. Yes.
Yeah.
That's Deborah Wilson, right?
Yep. Also, Seer Junda from Star Wars Fallen Order. Also Deborah Wilson.
Also Deborah Wilson, yeah.
Alex from Half-Life Alex.
Haven't
So
played
the
it yet.
daughter of it's Half-Life's a very old game. We have Jackie Briggs and her father Jax from Mortal Kombat. So those 2 Mortal Kombat characters.
Okay.
And then the last one is Mike Tyson, of course, from Mike Tyson's
From
Punch
Mike
Out.
Tyson's Punch Out. Yep.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah,
So,
Grace Walker from Wolfenstein definitely would have. If she was in it, she would have taken the cake. I would freaking love her in Wolfenstein too.
also, Smitty, yes, Franklin is awesome. He's fucking great. So, here we go. Round 2. Lee from Walking Dead versus Blade.
Zombie versus the vampire hunter. We're gonna go with. Oh, damn it. We're looking for best. Lee versus Blade. It's gonna be Blade.
You have Blade over Lee. All right. That's cool.
It's gonna be Blade.
Moving right along. All right. So Lola from After Party versus Michael Jordan.
Okay. We're definitely going Michael Jordan. Just because I don't know Lola, and that new is best is only works once.
It only works so far. Yeah. So then we have Barrett from Final Fantasy VII Remake versus Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, I really love pizza, so we're gonna go with Shaq.
Shaq, all right, Look at that. And then finally we have Colt from Deathloop against Marcus Holloway from Watch Dogs 2.
Colt, for sure right now. That's recency bias, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty great. All right, on the final 4, we have Blade versus Michael Jordan.
Here's the thing. Wait. Did Wesley Snipes go to jail for tax evasion or something like that? I feel like
he did, but not in the video game.
You're right, not in the video game. In my brain, I was like, there was some kind of controversy around the Michael Jordan documentary that came out, so maybe he's not the best. But they're like, wait, Wesley Snipes did go to jail for something too, so there's controversy there. But we're talking about Blade, the game character, versus Michael Jordan, the game character. It's gonna be Blade again. Blade might take this whole thing.
You like Blade, huh? Big Blade fan. And then we have Shaquille O'Neal versus Colt from Deathloop.
Yeah, we're gonna go Colt.
I thought you would stick with your boy Shaq. Have you played Shaq Fu ever?
No.
Greatest bad game of all time. It's fucking fantastic. All right, and finally we have Blade versus Colt from Deathloop.
Oh, damn it. Blade versus Colt. So we're gonna go Colt.
There you go. There you have it.
He's
Chad's #1 black person of all time, Colt from Deathloop.
Yep, Colt from Deathloop. A game that I was famously not into. I was like, I can't wait to stop seeing trailers for it. And now I'm just like all about Colt is awesome.
Yeah. Smitty also says Lincoln Clay is a great character. He absolutely is. But yeah, that's your definitive black person according to Chad. But again, all black people are cool. So you're all winners.
You're all winners. I love it. We have one last segment called Game On Game Show. The game on our gaming show, we play a game called Game On. The gaming show on our game show. It's game. We're playing Smush Me Into a Movie, Daddy.
That daddy part.
We've played this twice. And to refresh you on what this game is, Adam, is all the money has gone into Jurassic World. They pumped all the money into that, all the budget for Hollywood into that movie. And they didn't leave any left for 3 video game movies that are slated to come up. Yeah. So what we're going to do instead is we're just going to scrape together some CGI budget, and we're going to put these 3 properties into 3 existing movies. We're just going to deep fake some characters. So we got to find a movie that will fit this world, this video game world, and we're just going to kind of retroactively make this movie. So we've got 3. We're going to start with Devil May Cry. We got, some fast action. We got swords, demon arms. We got brothers.
Think. There's got to be some like really badass kung fu movie that I'm not thinking of that is really good sword play. Like, is it Ninja Assassin? There's like a really, really good movie from like 10 years ago that's like really bloody and violent. That's all about like,
I remember the poster for Ninja Assassin.
Yeah, I'm thinking one of those kind of movie, like a modern kung fu movie with swords, and we can just CG in white hair and maybe a demon arm every once in a while.
Ah, there you go. And if we just put like a demon's face on a couple of people.
Yeah,
there might even be like old like Chinese or Japanese masks in that thing of like some.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
I was going to say something like The Raid, but CGing swords into everyone's hands when they're fist fighting doesn't make any sense. So we're going to just have to, a movie that's already so, I was also going to say John Wick, but again, see, because John Wick uses guns, and sometimes in Devil May Cry use guns, but I'm like, what movie uses guns and swords?
But here's the thing, Adam, we don't necessarily have to use the weapons in the way that the weapons were created to be. Think about Ninja Turtles. Like, they have swords.
A lot of punching.
They have the side, but they don't ever use those to stab or cut people.
You know what? Even better. Ninja Turtles movie. Put a white wig on them. There you go. Devil May Cry.
Okay. And there are the brothers. There's Neo. There's Dante. There's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
It's batshit crazy too. It's also insane. It makes no sense.
Specifically in Michael Bay TMNT movies.
Oh, absolutely. The second one, because the second one is actually fantastic. So I have that one on 4K Blu-ray.
Okay. Next game is Octodad. And I'm going to rule out a movie. We can't do Mrs. Doubtfire because that's essentially already the same movie.
It really is. So Octodad. So someone trying to pretend to be something that they're not so that they don't get injured.
So that no one really knows their true identity as an octopus. So what do we CGI an octopus? Who becomes an octopus in a movie?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of I want to take a different turn with it and like a very serious movie about like someone like trying to hide from like a drug cartel or like a serious drama movie, but then just make him an octopus man.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's a serious
What
movie,
comes to mind for me is something like someone trying to conceal their, like G.I. Jane or Mulan, where they're like, I'm a woman in a man's role.
Yeah. Could you imagine Mulan? So it's awesome because it's animated, so it's so much easier to switch it over.
Yeah.
All of Mulan, but Mulan's actually an octopus. You could do that.
You could.
But it has to be the cartoon Mulan because a live action Mulan, very disappointing.
Oh, I didn't even watch it. No, said no thank you to that. You don't have music in it? Get out.
Yeah,
you don't have the best soundtrack? Get out.
Very good cast, but very, very boring movie. So yeah, let's go with Mulan and just make her an octopus.
Great. All right, last one here. I already have an idea. While I was like picking the games, I came up with a maybe good solution for this one, but I'm going to withhold that for a second to see what you come up with. Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh. Huh. So there's this movie, forgot what it's called. Some like horror thriller movie where this guy and his girlfriend get lost in the woods and the antagonist of the movie is a bear that's hunting them down and just CG a backpack on it. It's a story about, it's a horror movie about Banjo and Kazooie trying to kill people. That's an idea.
Okay. You can turn that girl into like just CGI her skin green and she's Grunty the witch.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally like the dude's like in a tent and like comes and like bites his legs fucked up, but you just hear like a, or like, wait, what is the noise that they make? As it's biting his fucking like, oh my God. Yeah, we could do that.
So here's what I thought of. Rush Hour.
Oh, yeah.
It's a buddy cop. Maybe Chris Tucker is Kazooie. And Jackie Chan is Banjo. They're already going to save some little girl, which is the plot of Banjo-Kazooie. Like they're saving his sister.
Okay. Is it the first movie, right? They're trying to save that little girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that could be like some big crime syndicate. You know, there's Grunty and her minions. I feel like Rush Hour could be a really good Banjo-Kazooie movie.
Chad, I'm going to be honest with you. If you ever say the word Rush Hour, I'm going to agree with whatever you say next. So, I mean, I love those movies, Scott. I don't know how they hold up, but I loved them as a kid. I'm like, this shit is awesome. So, yeah, CG those men into a bear and a bird. Keep everything else the same. Real people in the real world.
Yep.
Just dealing with this bear and this bird as they do fighting moves, and I'm all about it.
You see this bear just freaking doing kung fu and sliding under... he like slides under like the bank teller thing or something like that.
Yeah, especially because Jackie Chan always did like the cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
It was always like stunt work, but he was also doing martial arts. So it's like a lot of like grabbing stuff, flipping it around, going under chairs, kicking stuff up, holding it in front of him. But just it's a bear now, you know.
And Chris Tucker's just a bird being obnoxious. I freaking love it. That's it. That's it for Game on Game Show this week. And that is it for our episode 263 of Respawn Aim Fire. Thank you, everyone, for listening. You have homework, as always. Go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire, where you can become a patron for $1 a month. That gets you dope wallpapers. That also gets you Barf voting powers. Barf is backlog accomplishment with Respawn and Friends, where we put up 4 games on a poll and says, hey, we would like to play one of these 4 games. Something we haven't played before, or maybe it's a classic game, or it's been a very long time, something we should have experienced a different way. And you all tell us which one you want to hear us play each month. This month, you all chose Life is Strange True Colors, which happened to work out perfectly with Pride Month, so we are playing that all the way through June. You can play it as well because you're a person with choice, and so you can go and play that game and then write into our email, respawningfire@gmail.com, or tweet us your thoughts on it, and we will read those on the show. Or if you would like to be involved in the recording of that episode, reach out and let us know as we start thinking about when we're going to record that in the next couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It is June 19th as we are recording this right now, which means it is about time for August's poll to go up. So I will say right now that I'm going to post it as soon as we hang up, and then I will actually post it probably in a few days when I remember. So keep an eye out on that.
Actually, I think it's my turn.
Is it your turn?
I think you've done 2. I think you've done 2. Yeah, because you did the mobile game and then you did this.
You're right. So, and also by August, I mean July. So you're doing July's game, not August.
Yeah, that's also that as well. So that poll will be up on patreon.com/respawningfire, which is the correct address. So that poll will be finished before we record next week. So if you want to jump on there and vote on it, it will be up during this week, and we'll go live and finish up before next show. So we'll know next week.
Sweet. And that's it, everyone. That's all your homework. Have a well, I was going to say have a happy Juneteenth and Father's Day, but this will be in the past for you. So I hope you had a happy Juneteenth and Father's Day. And in the future, here's our usual sign off.